I'm very excited to welcome you to this ConnectOn session. Joining us today are Unnar, CEO of ConnectOn, Robert, a data analyst at ConnectOn, and Kevin, IT director at Struck and a ConnectOn client. ConnectOn has created HiveView, powered by Ceeview, to build a high-performing business-aligned MSP model, and today we'll explore how that comes together in practice. Unnar, I'd love to start with you. ConnectOn has a nearly 40-year history and a remarkable evolution. Could you share that journey with us?
Yeah, so the company was founded in you got it on there 1982, so it's 40 some years ago. And it started with two guys who were, they're CPAs of all things, and they decided that they wanted to build an IT managed IT practice, and they started, ConnectWise. At the time, it was an actual MSP, and back in 82, it was, you're basically a VAR at that point. And then throughout the years up into the 90s, they started trying to work out how do you manage the business of being an IT service provider. And Arnie started writing basically some code and built a software package that was basically, I think he called it the operating system or something like that for MSPs. But at the end of the day, there was a kind of a flip where the IT service provider became a software company, and the software company took the ConnectWise name and renamed us, the MSP, to ConnectWise IT. And for about 30 years, ConnectWise IT, or now ConnectOn, was the test kitchen for ConnectWise, the giant software company. Early 2000s, there was really started to be some serious adoption with MSPs to adopt this software as the PSA, Professional Services Administration, to really manage not only customer and CRM type activities, but what does a service provider, how do you track and manage all the things that you need to be doing for your clients, and so on. So, early 2000s, you saw, thousands of MSPs buy into this software package, and this company just exploded. So fast forward to, I want to say it was probably 2020 or 20 somewhere 2018 2020ish, where ConnectWise, the software company, was sold off to a private equity firm essentially, and ConnectOn finally was able to actually come out and be its own MSP.
That's an amazing background. And so you have a vision about what, given your past experience, we're going to talk about your experience in just a bit. You have a vision to take your MSP and make it a premier MSP around the globe, a differentiating MSP and a high performing MSP. Your decision to partner with Ceeview was to help achieve that objective.
100%.
Yeah. All right. So can you tell me a little bit about ConnectOn?
Yeah, I think, from the very beginning, the managed IT services has kind of been what we're all about, right? And I think that's kind of your MSP, quote unquote, is literally that. The more mature ones start to bolt on services like security services, where you run security operations center, a SOC, or you have analysts on staff doing security, looking at code and what have you, or um, uh, providing that end-to-end security bubble around your end users, your network, and your applications. We're a small shop, but we're very, very efficient. I think we take on full stack IT from desktop to data center to cloud. And then we wrap around our security, our SOC operations, and our security tools and practices around all that. And then we run a 24/7 network operations center, a 24/7 SOC, security operations center. and those two are actually separate. So they're not only they're physically separate, even different people. So anybody that's kind of done security and network management kind of knows that security people are from Mars and network people are from Venus, right? Um, so I never, there's a lot of MSPs out there that will kind of have your knock kind of fill both functions, and I would highly suggest people steer clear of those guys. Um, anyway, so a few years ago, ransomware started to become pretty prevalent, and it kind of forced us into a position of doing ransomware recovery operations for clients. And over, I want to say probably 5 years or so, we probably did 120 to 150 recoveries, ranging from small regional, say like law office type companies to uh, multinational global, let's say some companies I can't name, but let's say that the impact on a company being taken down with ransomware is affects the country's GDP where that company belongs, right?
Wow.
So pretty massive operations. And so we take all that experience that we've had, 40 plus years of not only building and designing the processes and tools and how to do all these things. Then you take the scale and scope of the infrastructure that we've supported and managed over the years and recovered from various disasters. You put all that together, and you got that little design you got there. I mean, this is
Yeah, it's quite understated given the specialization that your organization has in these areas that you just described. Pretty impressive on the ransomware solution area. I know you've Mike Ignacio, who's not with us today, is one of the men that's called to the scene to rescue ransomware situations. Is that correct?
yeah, he's really taken it to the next level in terms of our process and how we deploy. We've reduced the time from your average ransomware gig from boots on the ground to you're kind of back in, even limping operationally is about 3 weeks plus, and we've got that down to a couple of days.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Unnar himself. You've been working in the IT services sector for many, many years, probably almost as long as ConnectOn's been around. But if I'm not mistaken, I think one of your first jobs before you turned 18 was working for a managed service provider, and it's at managing end enterprise IT environments for the last 30 years. Is that correct?
That's correct. I started May 24th, 1995. It was 4 days before my 18th birthday.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know you've had a lot of other interesting jobs before that, but
And none of them
bouncer.
translate or apply to what I do today.
Yeah, yeah, completely radically different, but all fun and interesting. But he's Unnar knows his tools, and that's what we're trying to get across in this slide here. He's had a lot of experience with all the big, and little management tools. This is just a sampling of the tools that he's actually worked with over the decades. It's interesting here in the mid 2000s. I would love for Unnar to share his experience briefly with Nimsoft. He worked with Nimsoft at one of the MSP organizations in Southern California, who had a good number of small, medium, large enterprise clients. But he fell for Nimsoft and the Oslo team back during those days for the capability of Nimsoft.
Well, I'll tell you, when it comes to Nimsoft specifically, there's some logos on here that we haven't even put on, but we went through this, let's call it 15 to 20 years of running basically virtually every enterprise management tool that was out there. And what was really cool when it came to the Oslo guys was um, the message bus for one, and how they architected the solution. And here was a platform from a small company in Norway that nobody really knew that was doing enterprise monitoring better than CA and Unicenter and these IBM and these big guys, Tivoli IT director. Those were the
Gorillas back then.
those were the gorillas, yeah, and it was pretty fantastic to be able to come in with something like Nimsoft and really differentiate and also kind of separate from the big rigid corporate enterprise type workflows and what have you. That these guys in Oslo were able to turn stuff around and just develop new stuff like on the dime.
Yeah.
So it was pretty fantastic, and it made for a huge differentiator for us as an MSP.
Yeah, I mean, NIMSOft platform that, is massively adaptable and flexible, restrained and restricted to, to a certain set of functionality. And that's exactly what Ceeview is capable of doing as well. It has the flexibility and the adaptability, the scalability to adapt to an operating preference. And Unnar, you have an operating preference to be superior in your field of a managed service provider, and to bring a wide variety of business differentiating and business enhancing capability to ConnectOn. So let's talk about Ceeview in the hands of ConnectOn. They have taken the Ceeview solution, and they have created the HiveView brand. So when you see HiveView, and you will hear about it a lot in the marketplace, know that it's heavily powered by Ceeview and the full breadth of capability of Ceeview. So, Unnar, could you talk to us a little bit about business differentiation? Yeah, you had shared with me as we've gotten to know each other, kind of your neighborhood, your operating neighborhood, your corporate headquarters is in Tampa, Florida. We have a little map there with a bunch of triangles with a wrench in there. I've built that to represent what you call maybe infrastructure centric MSPs. Tell us a little bit about the MSP landscape and you being one of them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because as ConnectWise the software kind of outgrew ConnectWise the MSP. We became the test kitchen, and we were basically told not to compete with local MSPs. So we sat there and we essentially built our competition all around us for years and years. And so right now I could pick a rock and throw it in any direction, and I will hit an MSP in the Tampa Bay area. It's just inundated with them. So what every one of those MSPs has in common, though, is they all kind of focus on the same things. They go after how many desktops do you have? How many users? How many Office 365 mailboxes can I sell you? How many devices do you have that I can wrap some monitoring around and what have you? And I for years and have been talking about wanting to figure out how do we kind of invert that. We called it invert the pyramid or flip the pyramid. Is why don't we, rather than go after the IT and device and essentially what happens is you now get saddled with dealing with trying to sell to an IT director or somebody like that typically. um, if we flip the pyramid and we talk about, well, what are the business processes and business metrics and things that matter to the C level? So now you're talking to decision makers that can affect and engage you in a way that, guess what? At the end of the day, you're going to hit those IT endpoints anyway. So why not have that higher level mature conversation with the C level suite and go after what's meaningful and really matters to the business versus telling them about devices and patches and what have you, right? So that was kind of the idea is let's go
Right.
after business, the
Yeah,
core business process.
that's exactly right. And then you needed to find a platform to enable that kind of that direction, that differentiation, and you discovered that in Ceeview, correct?
I did hugely so, and the other strategic, I guess, realization was that when you're talking to the larger enterprise, mid to large enterprise clients, invariably you're not going to get to deploy your own tools, right? So they're going to have their own um, EDR type solution, or they're going to have their own, or whatever it might be in place that I don't get to put my tools in. So I needed a solution that I could then pull that data and provide the same value and visibility, but not necessarily being able to deploy any code myself, right? So
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where the Ceeview platform really knocked it out of the park. Is it's the best of both worlds for me, where I can do monitoring and I can do visualization and reporting of anything out there.
Yeah, so Anders utilized, yes, told a story at the during his kickoff of kind of this bottoms up scenario here on the left, which is what we're calling the commodity MSP. The lion's share of MSPs in the marketplace are focusing on clients under kind of endpoint infrastructure like devices and servers and laptops and workstations, what have you. But that is that's needed. That's fine. But there's more organizations, want to understand the health of their business processes, their business services. They want to have visibility into business metrics that inform, how the success of their business, the productivity of their business. The bottoms up MSP is not equipped to be able to deliver that important insight to enterprise organizations. Ceeview is built to be a top-down, business-centric, business observability platform, and so in addition to having the kind of the bottoms-up capability, so it's a combination of the two that makes the platform so powerful for Unnar to achieve his differentiation objective to deliver business to be better aligned with business executives inside his clients. One of which we have in attendance with Kevin, and we'll hear his voice soon. So Unnar has Ceeview in hand. He's created the HiveView, which is his business aligned MSP platform, and he went out and went to market with this HiveView solution and introduced it to a couple dozen of his existing clients to and let them know what's special about it. It's business centricity, and you got some pretty positive feedback in that initial launch, didn't you, Unnar?
Yeah, we got quite a few very excited clients out there that it's funny. You start to show them, oh, hey, I can do this, and all of a sudden the imagination just takes over, and they go, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? And it's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
So over 60 of ConnectOn's clients now are onboarded to the HiveView Ceeview platform. This is a screenshot of ConnectOn's home screen with 60 plus clients listed in the account grouping on the left, growing number of assets under management. One of the features of the Ceeview platform that really captivated and grabbed Unnar's attention is the service modeling. That really was a true form of top-down business service visibility, and we're going to get into that. Any comments on this particular screen here, Unnar?
I'm looking at the left side there, and I see the 5-digit IDs, and I figured I might explain what that's about. Early on, as we started doing customer tours through our NOC and what have you, it became pretty apparent that our customers were looking for anonymity. They don't want their names up anywhere. So we adopted a client ID code system. So and where this really hit home for me was a few years ago. I was looking at an MSP, a friendly competitor even, that was looking to sell not the whole business, but they wanted to sell a portion of their NOC operation, knowledge-based type stuff. And I went over there to go review this stuff, and I'm looking through their NOC, and all their customer names are up on screens. And I just happened to be in the middle of courting one of those customers, which was a large international manufacturer. And unfortunately for them, because their name was up there and I was able to see these operations, it gave me a huge competitive advantage and was able to win the business away from that MSP.
Wow.
so from that point forward, I vowed never to show a customer name
I'm sorry that we're showing 6 or 7 of them here, but they love you so much they ain't going anywhere.
well, these have given thumbs up. So
yeah. All right, so let's pick one of the bunch and of this group right here that we have visible, these logos, and let's spend a little bit of time talking about one of your clients. So we are very fortunate to have Kevin Finken with us. He's the IT director with Strek. He leads the IT function and his team over at Strek, and he is one of the early adopters of the HiveView solution, everything that we've been talking about Ceeview. And I'd like to offer a warm welcome to Kevin. Kevin.
Yeah, hi Ken. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
This
so great
this
to have
Unnar
you.
guy you keep talking about sounds pretty great.
Yeah, he is. Unzi, I believe he said that's the nickname that we've
Yes,
established for Unnar in our recent planning sessions for today.
right.
So
My
feel
dear sweet
free.
brother Unsi.
Yeah. Kevin, tell us a little bit about Strek and then if you would, a little bit about your role inside of Strek.
Sure. So Strike, we're a medical manufacturer. We produce hematology controls for diagnostic instruments and blood stabilization technology and molecular controls, uh, selling to just about every country in the world. My role here, I've been at Strict just over 15 years, started on the infrastructure side of things as a system engineer, eventually taking over management of our infrastructure and security group, and then here in the last year and a half or so, moving into the IT director role, overseeing our application development teams and the infrastructure group.
Right, and you have a lot of you have a lot of business executives that are looking closely at you for your enablement of their business. The Correct. Of course, that goes without saying,
Yes,
but
absolutely. Yeah, it's uh here at Strek, we're very focused on how we can align everything that we're doing in IT with, strategically with the business.
right.
Essentially, if we are not supporting the strategic initiatives and the goals of the business, then we really question should we be doing it at all, right? And a common phrase around here is IT problems are no longer IT problems. IT problems are business problems,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
then
that's
yeah.
and that's very much adopted by the senior leadership here.
Yeah, and so this you can see, as we've been talking about HiveView as and Unnar and ConnectOn as being evolved to a extremely highly focused business centric managed service provider. It fits really. His organization fits very well with what you need to deliver, the way you need to align with your business. So what a great match, ConnectOn and their new elevated focus in what you need to be able to deliver to your business. So we met with Strek back in February of 2025, and at the time when we were presenting the HiveView solution to Kevin and his team, we had connected HiveView Ceeview into Strek's Azure cloud environment, and during our presentation, we put up some cloud cost data and through the Ceeview cloud cost dashboards, and on the big screen projection screen immediately. Uh, Kevin stood up and said, "What are these big, tall cost pillars here in this area of Dynamics 365 production?" We were easily navigating through his spend across a number of his cloud cost spend, and he noticed something that he wasn't able to easily notice inside of Microsoft's own cost tools, and that was pretty cool that we were able to right there on the spot on the very first presentation connect into his Azure environment, and enable Kevin to see a spend area that was hidden from the Microsoft tools, and then he was able to shortly after that meeting investigate that and drive that cost out of the business. So it was a 9K a month spend that it turned out that maybe I should have Kevin explain, what happened there, what that
Sure.
spend was, and how you decided to kind of take it down to pretty much nothing on the months to follow.
Well, I think it's probably fair to say that in that meeting, I went on a small tirade about the poor visibility provided by Microsoft into cost management and Azure spend. And here at Strek, we have several subscriptions in Azure, and so trying to aggregate all of that spend into one place and to be able to see it and then break it out into those individual subscriptions was taking forever. It wasn't working very well. So HiveView was able to take all of that, show it on one pane of glass, but also let me click down in and see where exactly that spend was coming from. And we eventually, pretty quickly traced it to an out of control Power Automate flow tied to our Dynamics 365 system that a developer had set up. Just kind of set it and forget it. And it was firing, I think, every 30 seconds, to the tune of something like 60 cents per run or something like that, and which added up to about 10K a month. So
So
yeah,
it's
that
like
was
80,000 runs a month if you do the math. Yeah. If it
yeah,
runs around the clock every 30 seconds. Yeah. At 10,
yeah,
whatever
and
the
the fact
cost is per
the
run. Yeah.
and the fact of the matter is, I'm sure Strek isn't the only organization that has developers out there that are setting, coding or setting up different things or trying things out. They think they're playing in a sandbox and they're not. They're in the, production system, and these costs are real, and you don't necessarily see them until you get the invoice at the end of the month.
Right.
Yeah, and then you can't really even decipher that, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. It's just a
I,
number at the end of a
I have
sheet.
to say Kevin's reaction to the cost demo that we did was possibly one of the best I've ever seen. He got up and he walked all the way up
Yeah.
to the screen and was like, "What
Yeah.
is that?"
Stop. Go back. All right. So
Yeah,
that was
there's still a dark spot on that TV from where I poked it so hard.
All right. Well, that was the cost side of the HiveView solution, and the cost side is a powerful solution inside the Ceeview platform. But now it's inside the HiveView platform that ConnectOn is bringing to their end clients. But this picture here takes us to the kind of the business service visibility that Kevin was talking about. That's so important that he needs to be able to align, Kevin as the IT director, with understand the performance requirements of the business, and to be able to have visibility into what drives the business to be able to deliver on that. And so he before ConnectOn, he was kind of in this gray bottoms up type of kind of managed IT environment. And then Kevin, maybe please, if you could just take us through the before and after. Well, at least initially, the before scenario. What was your life before ConnectOn? How were you being informed of issues, and what visibility did you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So going way back before we were even involved with any MSPs, right? We were a SCOM, a Microsoft SCOM shop that we managed in-house, which anyone that's ever worked with SCOM, unless you've got a team of 30 dedicated engineers, you probably don't have that thing tuned to the specifics where you need it. So that was the start of our alert fatigue, right? And then we set off on this mission to try to find a co-managed solution or a managed solution to try to narrow that down, right, and give us just the visibility that we need without the as it says on the slide, 2,000 emails a day, and we were never really successful with that. And then we had worked. I like to say that I've worked professionally with Unnar for about 3 years, and I've worked unprofessionally with Unnar for about 7 years. Uh, And in thinking back on all of our interactions, we never talked really about monitoring, but Unnar was one of the few, maybe the only MSP that I actually trusted to do what he said he was going to do. So then we started having a conversation about monitoring and about HiveView, and we did kind of a proof of concept, and immediately those 2,000 emails a day dropped to to almost zero. And the ones that we were getting were the ones we actually cared about. And as the graphic on the right of the slide shows, flipping that triangle to really focus on business value, that gave me information that I could immediately, report up to my senior leadership, right? It wasn't just that a service failed on a server or a node in my ERP system was down. Like I said, IT problems are business problems. So if a node in my ERP is down, then the ERP system is down, or at least functionality is affected, and that's what the business cares about. And that's now the information I was able to provide. But then also to my engineers, we got that top level to where we could say, "Hey, sightline is down." They can immediately look into the dashboards, click down through, and see what the problem is. It was an application service? Was a node offline? What was causing the outage? And that really gave us actionable insight that we just didn't have before. And it completely wiped all of that alert fatigue off of the board when it comes to system monitoring, which to be honest, I told my team, I don't think we'll ever find it. I don't think, I just told them, you're just gonna have to configure email rules to filter out all of this junk. But Unnar and HiveView did it for us, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. And then
I have a rule, just as literally as email is not a monitoring tool. Yeah. So anytime people want to start sending, monitoring stuff to email, you're already failing.
Yeah. So Unnar's conversation, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So Unnar's conversation with clients now is what matters. What's the environment? What's the service that really matters to the business? And so there's a listing of these green bubbles up here. These are the business systems, the business services that drive his the Streck business of manufacturing, LabVantage, hematology, PSI capture. So that was what Unnar went after. Tell me those big business services, and then this is an example of, so here's LabVantage, one of the services across the top. Unnar went to work and put the Ceeview HiveView service modeling to work and quickly modeled out LabVantage. It's a top-down view. It's a very focused view on a very important application service, a business service in the Streck environment, and you have immediately in this kind of simple perspective but powerful perspective a view into the help of LabVantage. Under these leaf nodes, these and nodes are off to the left a number of service qualifiers, a number of monitor points that are being observed, and all of you that are on the call that know that are in this session that know service modeling, this is exactly what Unnar has in hand now, and has put it into the Streck environment, and Kevin's benefiting from this. So this is LabVantage. This is another interesting view that Unnar put together. He's so handy with the dashboard technology. He's built a dashboard of dashboards. He's called it Kevin's super dashboard of dashboards, and this is a dashboard that Kevin has visibility of. These are thumbnail but live living dashboards, all in a green healthy state, of six of those big service areas. And Kevin, this is a pretty valuable view for you. And when we were talking last, you were thinking about trying to put this onto a plasma screen, a touch screen plasma screen, in a corridor or some area where not only you can approach it and kind of touch it and drill your way into these, but others can as well.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I've actually got the touch screen in the room right next to me right now, waiting to get it set up. So yeah, almost like an interactive museum display, right? Anybody that wants to walk up to the board can, because these are interactive dashboards, they can drill down into any of these things, see what's under the hood for any of our applications, especially if one, pops up red. Knock on wood, right?
Yeah. And then Unnar, could you talk to us a little bit about what you have here, what you've put together, maybe for any one of these individually, but yeah, what are these made up of? I know you have the SLA. That's a very important part of what you deliver and support for customers like Strek. If you could just share what you're working on here.
Yeah, I mean, if we kind of take a step back, what Kevin and his team needed was, obviously this high level of visibility, but also for somebody, like us to be able to go in and go, well, your lab managed application, let's, it's one thing, his developers will give me some of the information, his technical team will give me some of the information, but we have quite a lot of experience, modeling these things out. So I'm actually able to go a little bit deeper into the hood and get into log files and things like that. So, every one of these application dashboards, kind of drills down and keeps the rabbit hole just keeps going deeper and deeper. But, I think for Kevin and I were talking, and he goes, I need SLAs and I need visibility, and I go, man, we got so many dashboards. So I forget what Kevin said to me, but I immediately hung up with him, and I created a dashboard of dashboards because I figured out that each of these frames, you could have them pop up and either pop up into a new window, pop up in a tab, and actually open the actual dashboard that it's representing. So it was kind of an aha moment. And so I don't know if that answers your question, Ken, but
It does. Yeah, that's tremendous. Again, recognizing the the kind of the adaptability, the use of the tool, and making putting something like this together. I think that's yeah. So it
I
absolutely
mean,
answers the question. But
typically, if you have a bunch of dashboards, you're fiddling around with trying to create slideshows, or you're doing, Chrome plugins to flip tabs and that kind of stuff. And this is really just a really neat, elegant solution to that.
yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful.
the initial ask, I would say, Unar, as I recall, was, being able to report SLAs and KPIs and really, and one of those just being total system uptime, right, for the week, for the month.
Yep.
And so all of these rolling up into an overall dashboard. And then as we were talking through that, it was like, well, actually, instead of just a one top level dashboard that reports total system uptime, why don't we just display everything
I'll
on one?
totally give Kevin credit for the idea. He he came
Yeah,
up with it.
yeah.
I believe I said my goal here is to just keep buying larger and larger TVs as we add more dashboards.
Yeah, and I know you had mentioned there's quite a few other individuals across the organization that's going to benefit from this type of visibility, this type of understanding the health of the business business services that are specific to their area of the business. So you call them stakeholders, and they need and this is the type of visibility that they can understand and value and work from.
Well, and this level of transparency, is exactly what we want to provide to the business. I want the business stakeholders to have access to these dashboards so that if they see that their app is running slow or isn't functioning the way they think it should function, they have the ability, just like we do, to go look at these dashboards and see if service is degraded in any way.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kevin, thank you very, very much for joining us and sharing your experience with your ConnectOn and their HiveView, their business-centric HiveView solution. It's just so greatly appreciated for you to join us today and share your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
It was
don't
great.
leave yet because I think there may be just as we get into this other segment, I think there may be an opportunity for you to chime in one more time. Um,
Sure.
I realize we're running really long, but this is so interesting, this discussion. Doug, would you want to nose in for a minute and let us know how what the time situation is?
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and this is very, very interesting. So I suggest you just go on like planned.
Okay. All right. All right. And thank you for the interesting interaction here, gentlemen. This is wonderful. We just covered engine number one, which is this service differentiation. We want to look at engine number two right now, which is really kind of a different dimension of ConnectOn's MSP business. And this is this particular area talks about or draws attention to the wide variety of tools an MSP would have in hand, and very important tools, and the need to have a unified, kind of view of the data that's inside each one of those tools. And more often than not, that is not the case. There is no kind of unified, cross-referenceable view of data. However, I have to say that that ConnectOn is doing a great job. So when I talk about tools, we're talking about tools that align with the various services that they offer to clients, the management that they're providing to many clients, like Logic Monitor, Ninja One, Cynet, Duo, Connect Secure, Exient. This is just a small subset of the 12 to 15 tools that Unnar has as part of his business. These are not tools that he can just consolidate into one. These are all individually necessary tools. But there's a lot of interesting data inside of each one of these tools, data about their clients. And wouldn't it be great to be able to bring this data together, have it be cross-referenceable, have this data live in the same platform as the business service visibility. So, Unnar, help us understand a little bit about this, where you're moving to with utilizing the Ceeview platform, given the capability of the Ceeview platform of the data lake and data sources. This is what we're really talking about here on this side, and this collection of tools that you have in house.
Well, so the challenge for us is, as you kind of put it, is we have, off the top of my head, it's probably 15 to 20 different tools that are critical to our management process with our clients. And so one, just having to have people log into all that is just a huge waste of time. So the fact that we can aggregate all this data into one pane and create actionable views and reports and data output really solves a lot of problems for us. But then, take that and then extend it out to the customer. So, ConnectOn has this variety of tools that's all kind of flowing into the data lake. Well, then, because most of our customers are co-managed, we're going to run into guys like Kevin and his team, where they have their own patch system, or they have their own EDR solution, or they have their own GRC compliance type, solutions. Well, great. I can just via API or what have you, tied directly into those and bring all of that stuff right into the data lake, and provide the same visibility and dashboards to Kevin and his team, or whoever wants to consume them, really. So that really has been the data lake functionality. So there's a few things. There's the data lake functionality. There's the fact how you guys separated the service modeling from actual monitoring, and then applied the SLAs to the service models. All of those are really, really different. It's different how you guys have done it compared to most other enterprise monitoring solutions out there. So, yeah, I'm kind of rambling out. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question anymore.
It's okay. You have an opportunity here with Ceeview data sources to bring to achieve a greater level of operational efficiency, and a new level of client value with this capability, and so that's really what I wanted to draw attention to. So this picture here is showing HiveView as Ceeview as being an opportunity for you to take data that lives in all of your individual tools and bring it into the Ceeview HiveView, into a data lake, and then produce kind of non-monitoring type of output, like patch status and what have you. We're gonna look at that a little bit. This is a direction that you have some of this in place already. So, for example, you're bringing NinjaOne into data sources. You're bringing SciNet into data sources, and but there's many other tools that you're going to bring in as well. And I know that you're looking to you're asking for more cross-referenceable capability in that data aggregation inside of a data lake. And but this is an important part of your business to be able to bring the data that lives in these tools into a Ceeview platform, into a common management platform, and have that be available to your end customer, along with what we've previously discussed, kind of the classic and IT monitoring, business service centric monitoring.
You know what, Ken, I'll tell you, just on the NinjaOne example alone, we have been able to create better visibility into NinjaOne than NinjaOne has in their platform. So, it doesn't get any better than that.
I think, Kevin, did you say something similar about your patch, the patch, tool that you have, that, the data is there, but maybe the visibility isn't, the visibility into that data, the kind of insight you'd like to have from it is not quite there, where, this type of it's a little bit of a thumbnail off to the right, but the visualization in the pie charts, bar charts, donut charts, that type of thing is something that is quite telling. It better, much more informative, but is just not there in some of these tools. But you do get that when you bring that data into the Ceeview platform.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, our patching tool, we're happy with it. It does a good job, but they haven't really focused much on the visuals and there's a few dashboards, but with HiveView, we can, we get more control, more slicers, more ways to filter and break it down into specific patches if we want to look at it from that view, or break it out by department, or operating system type. Just all basically, like Unnar said, however we want to look at the data, we can do that, and we can't do that natively through the tool and what's provided.
Right. So this picture here does require, in order to bring the data from these tools into Ceeview, you have to utilize the data sources function of Ceeview, and it requires somebody that knows it. It just doesn't, and that person is Robert. And so Robert Albarran is on the ConnectOn team, and he is a data analyst. I'd like to bring Robert into the conversation. Robert, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome. And you've really have immersed yourself into this data sources function of Ceeview. I wonder if you could share some of your experience with data sources and this direction that you're going with bringing this tool data into the Ceeview platform.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I would like to say that here the main idea is that we don't just move data from A to B. Okay, we transform it into a schema that answer business questions. Okay, and that's the idea. I would like to refer to what Anders was presented with the economic gap and business metric data lake. Okay, that's the strategic vision, gotta say. But HiveView allow to ConnectOn to build the plumbing that made this real. Okay, because you can calculate patch risk equals to, I don't know, X dollars per hour if you don't have clean, normalized, and cross-system data. Okay, about, for example, patch status, device type, and customer context. Okay, The technical approach is simple, okay? Raw data is powerful, but in silos, you can't tell the full business story. And the data people, we are basically that. We're storytellers, okay? So we are building integrations, for example, for NinjaOne, Signet, Duo, etc. And they all fit into a business data lake, okay? We took raw data, okay, into the dimensional models, okay? That Ceeview allow that with the data lake, okay? So this is that I'm doing, okay? I took raw data from 12, maybe around 12 MSP tools, and then transform into a unified data lake, okay? That powers business decision. The key insight, the data is there, but it was isolated, okay? Because as I mentioned, the data was just in silos, okay? So with HiveView, we can break down those silos and create cross-systems intelligence, okay? That turns HiveView from a monitor screen into a decision engine. And this is a key factor. This is a game changer, okay?
Wow.
So what we are doing here is a snowflake style normalization approach. For those of you with data background, I mean, data engineers and data analysts, this pattern will be familiar, okay? It's a classic dimensional technique, but this snowflake style normalization inside HiveView have a different scope, okay, a bigger scope, because instead of having, massive flat tables with ton of repeated data, we are creating dimension tables, dimensions for organizations, locations, device type, and then we have fact tables, okay, with the actual metrics. The dimensions give you the who, what, where, and the context. And the fact give you the how much, how many. I don't know if this model is clear for you guys. Yes.
Oh, that was very, very clear. At least, yeah, it is to me. And Unnar, does that sound good to you? And Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful explanation, Robert. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. This is such a good example about where we are talking about. Okay. When you have to answer the question, how secure is, I don't know, Skywalker client, okay, in 10 seconds, instead of 10 minutes, that's transformational, okay? That's a key difference in the business model, okay? So in this case, we have a NinjaOne dashboard, okay? A really nice one, I gotta say that. And we're pulling data from thousands of devices from NinjaOne, and dealing, with the NinjaOne API rates and all the stuff. But at the end of the day, the important thing is to not just provide the data. You gotta provide actionable items, okay? Actionable reports and dashboard, okay? And that's we achieve with this.
That's what you have here in these widgets. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Very telling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then here we have an example of some Signet work being brought into data sources and dashboards.
Yeah, and here is where the real power comes when you combine this Signet data with other data sources, for example, NinjaOne, etc. Okay, here we can correlate devices that are unpatches and Signet alerts, and for example, haven't been back up in 7 days, okay? That's the risk surface you need to see. Okay, not a single tool shows that this device is not being patched. This is different. This is an integrated view, okay, of the platform. Okay.
Such a great level of understanding and implementation of the solution, Robert. Just massively impressive. I can imagine that our community would could benefit from some working sessions with you individually, and or to have you come into their environment. Maybe you could provide some service to to our community and help them get some of this going, because there's so much business benefit in what you're doing. Just tremendous. So great job. Getting into this, figuring it out, and working with us. I know you work closely with Karstein and Katorum on getting yourself smarter and smarter, and just really tremendous work that you're doing, and it's just having a great impact on ConnectOn and helping Unnar achieve that high performing MSP business area of how that is going to be how that's going to be accomplished. So great
Everybody
job.
should have a Robert.
Everyone should have a Robert, yeah. And by the way, I just there's this quick little quote here: "Quick to publish a table." It is awesome. One of the things you've noticed, you're a power user of Power BI as well. I do know that you've done some amazing work inside of Power BI, and you're essentially doing building a lot of what's in Power BI into the Ceeview platform, into the HiveView solution that you're bringing to clients. But one of the observations you made was that when you do connect Ceeview or to a data source, that it is rapidly populated in. You don't have to wait long amounts of time, which is so important for a data guy like yourself that wants to work quick.
Yeah, because Ceeview is a purpose-built platform. Okay, Power BI is wonderful, it's awesome, and Microsoft Fabric is also wonderful. That works well for general analytics, but for managed service provider like us, Ceeview is a purpose-built. For example, we have this wonderful feature in Ceeview, the vault. Okay, so this is an important and a secure feature from Ceeview, because credentials are encrypted and loaded in the runtime. Okay, the actual keys are never appears in the script or even as an environment variable. Okay, so this is important. Okay, and it has to be mentioned.
Okay, we're just about at the end. There was this last little dimension, or this engine, which is this new product creation. Unnar, comment on the new product creation part, if you would.
So with all these new wonderful capabilities, I'm able to have different conversations with potential clients. One in particular, I think you actually have a slide on it with IXL. Is here's a company that is an incident response firm that is owned by a law firm that has presence in, I think, 47 or 50 countries or something like that. They're pretty huge. And they developed something called DRM, which is digital risk management. And what that is essentially a self-reporting tool for people to come in and put in certain data points about their organization and where they fit in terms of compliance, security, supply chain, and all those types of things. And what they wanted me to do was could ConnectOn build them a solution where we drop an agent inside that client network, and then we validate their self-assessments and tell them, well, okay, so here's what you told us, but we've done some digging and here's what's actually true. And the two will usually never match, right? And then, so what that allows us to do with the HiveView data lake capabilities that we're talking about is I can now go into a client environment. I can validate their self-assessment against their actual infrastructure and systems and tell them what the reality is. And then from there, you can prioritize now and say, well, here are the high priority things that you should be doing in the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 to 180 days or whatever, and start, laying out a plan, a remediation plan, or what have you, in budgeting, for example. The other thing that will come out of this effort is, in partnership with CIXL, we're going to take the top 10 or 12 insurance companies out there and map out all of their IT security type requirements for insurance policies. And then, so any customer that has this solution in place could come into one of our dashboards and click a button and generate a report that would fit all of those insurance company requirements for, insurability for that client. So,
wow.
There's a couple of, and this endeavor we're talking about here involves about 4,000 clients.
Wow.
So it's grand scale.
It's just tremendous. Well, thank you for sharing that aspect of your business. You've got so many things going on that is putting you in a position to just power forward. Love it. So
I'll tell you, I have slept 0 minutes last night. I'm still going.
Yeah, you're just amazing. What a machine. So this is we've reached the end, and I think my internet is just about to reach the end as well. But I think it hung in there just long enough. But thank you, Unnar, for bringing your business to the community here to hear everything that you're doing inside your organization. Thank you for bringing Strek, Kevin. Just really appreciate you being present and sharing your experience as an IT director and also as a partner of ConnectOn, and we feel like you're a partner of us as well. We've worked with you directly, so thank you for being here.